who the fuck to trust, is she my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, bro, yeah, she give me that claim I was roll. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm good at artists, silly on block, Bambi. Bad bitch, yellow, text. She wanna eat me like candy. Running through racks, track me. I run up the racks like an athlete. Big facts, you're the dick, 6 flags. Ballin' like dick flags, told her I love her. I ain't really mean that, yeah. I remember.
We are very privileged tonight to have Kane from Carswap, Kane Ellis, here for dinner. Laz has cooked us up an unbelievable feed, which I'm very excited about trying. But Kane owns a business called Carswap. We're keen to talk about Carswap. He's also done very well in cryptocurrency. We're keen to talk crypto and what else he gets up to day to day. So, mate, thanks for joining us.
Nah, not a problem.
Pleasure.
Happy to be on the show, guys. This is awesome experience.
Yeah.
And the dinner smells amazing.
Good, it's my little specialty, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a creamy parmesan and mushroom chicken kind of pasta.
Yep. Yeah, nice. And you made it from scratch, pretty much? The whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
There you go.
Not the pasta, San Remo.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So you used to be a chef, you were telling us 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. So pretty much at the age of 13, I was like dying to get a job. I don't know why, but I had like this fascination with like starting business or just, not necessarily, obviously at 13 you don't know if you want to start a business or not. You don't even know what a business is, but I was just like intrigued with money and how it worked and like how like my friends were getting all these cool things from their parents. I'm like, how do I get this? You know, my parents weren't really well off and such. So I was like, I need a job. So I handed my resume out to so many different places, and one of them happened to be Fast Faster. And I was underage at the time, so I had to wait till I was 14. Waited that extra year. Actually, it was probably a half year at the time. And I started doing the dishes, like pretty much straight after school. I'd go there, do dishes for a little bit, and then I'd just work my way up. You know, from dish pig out the back, so to speak, all the way up to head chef running the kitchen, so the back, the front kitchen, and it was a. And then from this was one fast pasta, and then like other fast pastas around the state, pretty much wanted me to use me up there.
Too intrigued by your story.
And then basically other faster pastas around the state, like needed head chefs, so pretty much. And I started my apprenticeship actually at Faster Pasta, kind of grew from there. I think it was like a year and a half, certificate 3, so to speak. And yeah, it was a bit of a journey, but not really like specialty pasta. It was more just, your westernized pasta, I guess you could say. So like, if I went to Italy, someone said, "What pasta is this?" I'd be like, So not a professional, but.
And where did you go from there? Did you go to a restaurant from there, or did you stick with it? Or?
No, just stuck with Faster Pasta. And pretty much worked my way up there, but up the ladder, and then when I was 18, that was when I pretty much got into starting my own business in the tech world.
18.
Yeah, so my
started
ABN
business,
now
wow.
is 10, 11 years old. Yeah, I'm 28 now, so yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as I was legally allowed to start it, I did. And didn't really have much help. Like, that's the thing with Australian education. They don't teach you how to create ABN, how finance works. They don't teach you this stuff, and they need to. Credit score, like, all this kind of stuff, which us Australians are like, don't lend from the banks. It's a bad thing. Like, pay with cash, this, that.
Yes, yeah.
And that's, school doesn't teach you anything about this. You got to learn it yourself. Stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, it's a bit of an interesting venture that I pretty much did when I was 18.
So, first tech business was an IT business, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's called Nerd Herd. It's a bit of a funny name, but it kind of stuck. Pretty much trademarked the brand. And then I moved into like schools at the age of 18. I finished high school at the end of year 10. Didn't actually do year 12 or 11. Drop out. But what happened was from the I had pretty much went on to tertiary education. So after that, I did certificate 1 in IT in year 10. I enjoyed it. I had the chance to skip a certificate and go into 3. Yep. So I gave mum and dad, the piece of paper saying like what's going to happen. Like if I pass, I get certificate 3. If I fail, I stay in school. So like, you know what? This is worth the risk. I was, I'm a I'm in the family of 6, so mum and dad and 4 of us kids.
Oh, there's 4 kids. Wow.
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
And what happened is they all completed year 12.
Yeah.
So I was the dropout. And so I wanted to prove them wrong and basically say, like, this is my plan. And they liked it. They liked how I presented it. And I'm like, let's take this risk. Let's do it. I passed certificate 2, so that means I could get into 3. And that's what I did. And it worked out well. Worked out for the best, you know.
So what was Nerd Herd? Was it what kind of?
Yeah, so that was really like, I started with like family and friends, like, you know, let's just say Kyle was my best friend when I was 18. He would give me a call and say, hey, Kane, my computer's not working. Started off doing basic computer work.
Okay.
Then I started going into telecommunications, like, you know, more advanced stuff, like this server's down, this is down, like, I want to create an app. And then that's when I had to, you know, get external help. And it started broadening from there. And then at the age of 18, I was working at schools. So schools would hire me. And then what would happen is I'd go to these schools and some of them I would just be like a worker there, like and some I'd get consultation for. So I'd go in there and say what needs doing or whatnot.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
So you're 18. The kids in year 12 are 18 at the same stage.
Yeah, so it was really weird. So I would walk into the school
face.
and there would be like people that either knew me or like I knew of them, and like, yeah, we're like, hey, how you going? And I'm like,
that's cool.
wearing like a suit and a tie, not a suit, but you know, just
Yeah.
like working
Well
clothes. So
dressed,
yeah, well dressed, yeah. And it was quite funny, but yeah. So then I worked at schools for like 5-6 years, I reckon. Went through like a lot of schools. And then that's when carswap came up. I actually met the other co-founder, Cyrus, plug. Who Kyle has racing it.
Race to the pool.
Yeah, it's a close match. I got it on video, but Kyle did.
Cyrus, yeah,
Kyle did give him a bit of a head start from memory.
Yeah, Cyrus couldn't imagine that I'd actually beat him in the pool. So this was what, probably 2018, maybe just after Com Games, we decided to have a race. And Cyrus trained. I remember giving him some goggles and everything, and he honestly believed he would win, which I love that mindset. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like my mindset as well. It's like, if anyone challenged me to something, I'll go, well, why should they beat me? Maybe not at founding an app, but or tattooing, but something else like sport-wise. And Cyrus came and had a good crack at it, and then we went out for a good dinner. And
Yeah,
it was great.
Like, I honestly, his accent American, by the way, he's Texan. I honestly reckon I can beat Kyle Chalmers. Like, I mean, how fast can you really be? Like,
And I have that all the time. People thinking they could actually beat me.
I reckon I could beat you.
I reckon you could as well. You're a person I
I'm not
wouldn't
getting
want to race
my
because
foot
I
in
reckon
it
you
again.
actually could.
I'm not doing that again.
Let's do it.
Can we talk about? I need a bit of wine here. Can we talk about this wine for just 1 second? Because we got a bit of a story with this.
yeah, so
I know you're supposed to have white with chicken, but well, I'm mixing it up.
there you go. Well, yeah, this is actually one of my next door neighbours' vineyards here in South Australia. I don't know. I'm not a wine connoisseur, so I don't know much.
Natural?
Yeah, so I don't know much about it, but
He doesn't drink.
it's a truth. Yeah, I don't drink at all. So it's a 2014 Shiraz. I know that, and it's definitely been aging. Thank you very much. This is my go-to.
You must put that in your amazing plate.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yes.
Branding.
Love it. But yeah, carswap. We started in 2016. It started from a prototype in early 2015, 16. I wasn't even in those stages, in the prototype stages. But I was helping carswap along the way. And in 2016 October, I believe it was, we released in the App Store, and we got our 10,000th user in, I think it was, a couple of months after, maybe December or January of 2000.
Wow, 10,000 straight away.
Yeah, but we started the app. Just a bit behind the app is it's kind of like Tinder for cars. So the way it works is Kyle would add his car and go on there and swipe right if you like the car, left if you don't. And what happens is it goes by value. So like, let's just say I've got a similar value car. We can either swap permanently, or we can buy and sell cars on there. So depending on what Kyle wants to do, if he just wants to sell his car, you can just get buy offers. And it's all free, so it's free for users.
That's a great idea. That's
Yeah.
a really good idea.
Yeah, it's cool, hey?
Yeah.
Well, we have a competitor out there, and you guys would have well heard of it. It's called Car Sales, and they charge a large fee for people like you and I. Like, I don't even know what the fee's up to now, but it used to be $68 just for a listing, but I believe now it's near the $100 mark. And for dealerships, Like if you just want a mere inquiry on your, let's just say you got a dealership and you got 100 cars, and you list them all on car sales, it's $50 per mere inquiry. So I could call up Les dealership and say, hey, I'm interested in that blue Ford Falcon. Is it available in red? No, sorry, that's cost you $50.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Hey, do you have that Ferrari? Can I borrow that for a weekend for my kid's formal? $50. And they can't complain. And they end up getting, 10, 15, 20, 30 leads for a car before they sell it. So they pay a lot of money.
Wow.
And dealerships, I walk in and...
I should know that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, see, like, the general public doesn't know.
No.
If you walk into a dealership and you say, hey, do you guys like car sales? Do you like Gumtree? And I can guarantee you they'll say no. Yeah, so, but that's who we're competing against. And we're having a lot of, we're trying something different. We came into the market not even attempting to compete against anyone. We just wanted to do it for, we didn't intend to make a lot
For the
of
average Joe?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was free. Like, we didn't plan on making money out of it. And then someone brought to our attention that it's expensive, from a car sales point of view.
Oh, so you didn't even know yourselves that?
No,
Right.
before we started the app, we did not know. And then we thought, let's do a business plan, 5-year performer, do this, and like work out how much we can actually make, and who we charge, how we make our money, and how we make our money is through the dealerships.
Okay.
So we get all their listings, and pretty much we connect to their. It's a bit of a technical, yeah, but we connect to their DMS, which is called a dealer management system software, and they what they do is they list through car sales, they list through Gumtree, they list through us, and they just have this one hub. They sell a car, they buy a car, it goes across all the platforms. Because you can imagine if you've got 150 cars, imagine uploading it to Facebook Marketplace, yeah. Right. So what they do is they have this one hub, and we connect to that hub directly and list all their cars autonomously.
Straight onto the app.
Yeah, straight onto the app.
It blows my mind that you can even create an app. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that you have developed an app. Like, I can understand people building houses or doing a painting or a drawing, but like building an app just blows my mind completely.
Well, that's the thing. It's people start it with the intention of, do my framework job on the side. I'll run the bakery and I'll start an app on the side. Yeah. But it never works like that, because you've got to spend so much time. An app is never complete. You put it on that app store, you've got to keep updating. You've got to keep marketing it. Like, all and well, you put an app out there, but how do you get users? How do you get people getting on your app? That's the hardest part. You need money, you need capital from different ventures. Yeah, of course. So it's about getting a team of the right people and being smart with your money, that you get through investors or whatnot.
So hours you work a week, what would you say? I know I see Cyrus's Snapchat stories every day, and he's always talking about how many hours he's working, but
definitely.
You guys put in the hard work to get to where you are.
100%. Like, sometimes, I remember vividly on I had my birthday, and I was in Melbourne, and I was doing sales. This is back in, I think, 2019. I was just doing sales, like going to different dealerships. And this one group was like, yep, I'm very keen. It took a long time to set up. And they were like, can we set it up tomorrow? And I was like, it's my birthday today. I was like, that means I have to stay in Melbourne, because I was planning on coming back to SA. So I was like, I'm going to hustle and do this. I stayed all my birthday, like, programming, getting it all at the back end right, because they have 4 dealerships. So it wasn't as easy as just like flick of a switch they're on. I had to get all the databasing, everything done. I was working so late on my birthday. Then the next day I had to go deliver. We do LED trailers as well, which you've probably been seeing around Adelaide and Melbourne. But
You'll notice them now. You've seen Kane. They're everywhere.
I have seen them.
Yeah.
So we advertise like what you see on the app is the car. It literally advertises on the screen, all autonomous. So we have like a lot of patents and IP behind that. So that's pretty cool. So like it just automatically comes on the screen. So I had to deliver like 3 of those trailers by myself, and like. Yeah.
Sacrifice, eh?
100%.
Nothing comes without a bit of sacrifice.
Nah. So, and if I said, I'll come next week, he probably would have been like, do you know what?
Everyone do it.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have seen the motivation, but he knew it was my birthday, the dealer principal. So he was like, this is an app that we're keeping, and just going that bit extra mile, that bit extra credit can definitely help.
Yeah.
This is lovely, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, how is
really
it?
nice.
Yep.
I like a mellow wine. It's very, not too sharp.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So where's the app now? Like, how's it going, and is it accessible for everyone, or?
Yeah. So it's a global platform.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're worldwide.
So you could trade a car with someone from another country, or how is that? Is that a stupid question?
I don't think so.
No, not at all.
That's a cool.
Okay.
Imagine that though. How does that even work?
I actually have never had that question.
Okay,
That's a
right.
good question.
So
But,
a few first.
Yeah, so what it normally is, if it's a global app, people in California can trade each other in California. We've got
okay.
users in Kazakhstan, they can trade each other. Like,
Is it like Tinder? Do you have a
a region?
Oh,
a range.
you do?
Correct, yeah. So you literally set it up
That makes
as,
more
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So have you downloaded Tinder and gone, I want to do a car?
Have you got some tips out of Tinder?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not on Tinder, personally. I think I used to be on it,
Yeah.
but just for training purposes.
Yeah, go on there. That's good. So do you go on there now and see when they do an update, you kind of see what they've done and then kind of copy? Or?
I like, no, not really copy, but I love their innovation, definitely. But it's more just the matching interface that has never been done in the automotive industry, like matching two users
I've
together.
never heard of it.
There are
before,
so many
no.
people that in America, the DMV or here, the motor registration vehicle, a lot of people walk in to parties and being like, hey, we traded cars, what do we do? Like, before we even started CarSwap, the motor reg people get that a lot. And they're like, oh, well, we have to go by value and do all this and that. But yeah, it's becoming more common to
Right.
trade, yeah.
That's cool.
So, you're our first non-athlete, by the way. And just for the record, this isn't just athletes. So we're going to have people that we know that have made it or successful in whatever they do. And how do you guys know each other? How did you meet?
How did we meet? We met at a 36ers game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can I actually tell the story? Because I love this. I actually told a friend the other day.
curious.
And so yeah, we're at a 36ers game, and I was sitting. So my business partner Cyrus was here, and Kyle and his family were over there. And I was sitting and I was just like watching the game, and then all of a sudden, I believe it was your mum or your dad got up and was taking an awkward photo, kind of like this, like trying to take a photo of the whole family.
Yeah.
And then like one got up, the other one took a photo, and sat down. And it was kind of like you were doing like a musical chair
that's right,
photo.
yeah.
And I was like, sorry, go ahead. And I was like, wait a minute, I know that face. I was like, oh, and I was like, got my phone out. I was like, I know that face. I know it from somewhere. And I was like, it's Kyle Chalmers. And then because Cyrus, he hasn't been in Australia long. So I was like, that's Kyle Chalmers, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, oh, awesome. And I'm like, go take the photo. Like, I was a bit shy. I was like, go take the photo. He's like, all right.
Oh, you got a selfie, did we?
No. And then, so they were taking the photo awkwardly. And then
Right.
what Kyle did was, what Cyrus did was got up and took the photo. And they took the photo. And then immediately after, I went up and it was so awkward because Kyle must get it a lot. But I walked over and I was like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Kane. I'm a massive fan. He's like, oh yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah. And he was really like, he was kind of like, oh, this is like a bit like, because we're watching the game, and like I was like quarter time.
Yeah,
or
we're on
something.
courtside. Like,
Yeah.
courtside,
And he was like, oh yeah, thanks. He had all his family watching, so it was a bit awkward for everyone. And
Yeah.
I was just really awkward. It was just awkward. We kind of stared at each other. I was like, okay. But yeah, it was awesome. And then basically, I that night, Kyle uploaded that photo, and I was like, Instagram stalking. I was like, I followed Kyle that night, and I was like, oh, awesome, like good to see your progress and stuff. And I think I put like a comment on the photo, and I was just like, Cyrus, you took this photo, it looks awesome. And then after that, Kyle and I just got chatting, and he was like, oh, what's CarSwap?
Slid into his DMs.
Pretty much. Well, I was a bit starstruck, so I was like, oh, this is cool, like, and yeah, and pretty much, yeah, we went courtside again, I think a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, hey,
You
yeah,
went
it
to
was,
a few games. Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much how it started, and like, pretty much like, similar interests. Like, I had, reptiles, I had reptiles.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So like, we had that in common, and back then, he only had like one or two terrariums. I think.
true.
You
When
had-
you first came.
yeah, you had like
Yeah.
minimal, but it was like he had cool. I think back then you had bearded dragons and blue tongues and
Yeah.
such,
Yeah.
and then you started getting into more like rarer blue tongues.
Yeah.
But now,
Fish tank. Got it
now
all.
how many
Comments.
have you got?
I've cut right back now at the moment, actually. Turning my garage back into a garage so I can park my Ford Ranger, which is another thing we have in common.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Black-
Yeah,
The black Ford Rangers.
both Ranger
Yeah,
fans.
so I can park it inside, which would be good.
Did you see the jump that I did?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
I've heard about a jump.
Yeah,
What
tell
did
us
you
about
do?
the jump.
What have you
Well,
done?
I mean, so I've been starting to get into forward driving, like more of a, I wouldn't even call it forward driving. It's more advanced forward driving. It's like jumping vehicles. And
Jumping
vehicles. And like, never in a million years I would have thought that I would jump vehicles, especially like road vehicles. Like you normally build a trophy truck, something that with like big wheels, big suspension, something that you can't drive on the road. But I'm like, what about if I do? Why not both? So I pretty much did that, and I pretty much went in there not knowing anything, started jumping it, started breaking things. I'm like, oh, why am I breaking things? Like, so I reinforced everything. I got bigger shocks, better wheels, got sponsorships on, like, to build it. And eventually I was just like, I'm going to go for a pretty big jump. And I pretty much went to this sand dune with all safe, and we measured it out, and I knew I was going to do it. We got the film crew ready, and
over in Paul Lake in my neck of the woods, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was. I was actually going to bring that up. Yeah,
Lad's going there on Wednesday.
There we go.
He might be able to go emulate it out there. You got a Commodore?
I have a few of these, and I'm going to see what I can do.
Oh, the Commodore would fly.
Yeah, okay.
Might need a few pads or something. Just.
Maybe a few of these, and then we'll go.
But yeah, so I ended up pretty much sending it. I hit 100 kilometers an hour on the bottom of the sand dune.
Jesus.
Keep in mind, this sand dune is massive. Most four-wheel drives were like, ooh, and not getting up. But I took a massive run up, and I just hit it 100 kilometers an hour, boom, and I was like, whoop, that's a big jump. And then it came to the top of it, about 83 kilometers, something like that. I wasn't really concentrating on the kilometers, I was more concentrating on my life, and basically as I'm coming up, I just sent it, and I'm talking maybe 2.5 meters high, so taller than anyone here, just like woof, straight up, and then about 16 meter conservatively. Normally, I think it was about 18 to 20, but 16 meters conservatively distance.
Okay.
And the trajectory was
That's
like
good,
clockwork. It was like this jump, so my car's coming up here, and the trajectory was kind of like a downward trend. And with the motor being front, like top heavy, what happened is it sagged down and like landed perfectly, like all four wheels at the same time.
But hang on, you can't practice something like that.
You cannot.
So how do you just wing it?
Yeah, so that is basically see the trajectory. You see the perfect trajectory, and you're like, okay, I've got to send this pretty hard.
In your head, you're in your head.
Yeah, in your head,
okay.
you kind of draw it, and then you like measure it out, and we paced it out where I was going to land. My thought logic was if I hit it at 100, I'd hit the top at about 70, 60, but I just had so much speed. The car had been tuned, and like everything had just been well put together. So I was like, oh wow, like I'm getting a lot of speed. So I ended up not doing 10, but almost double that.
Jeez,
and
were you wearing a crash helmet or anything?
I'm not going to lie, I was wearing flip-flops. I had no safety helmet. I had the airbag still deployed, so like you'd normally take the fuse out of the airbag. So if you do come at a weird angle or too hard, you're going to get concussed instantly.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I had all of that still enabled just to be safe, and no crash helmet, seatbelt on, of course. No one else in the car with me. You'd be dumb to do that with anyone in the car. And but basically landed it perfect. I lost a mud flap, and my steering alignment went out a tiny bit, which was good. So.
Try it at home, kids.
Yeah,
This is Australia.
I want Laz to verse you in a car jumping Laz normally challenges our guests it now.
Yeah, I'll do it. I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit. He can take my truck once it's done up.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that would be gold.
1v1.
We can have a thing with your cars. You'd give me a car, wouldn't you, for a race with him or something?
I reckon.
But there's so many
Yeah, sure,
variables because like if you like come at it and like you like even just like the wrong angle when you're coming down too far, like what you can do is like you can literally land on the front of it.
Yeah,
or
that's true,
side,
that's true.
like anything. Like anything can go wrong. And I've seen so many YouTube people like just absolutely flip it, whatever. Yeah, and especially at this height. This height is 100% ride-off worthy and
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Very lucky. So you wouldn't do it again then, you've ticked it off and now.
nah, retired.
Yeah.
No, I think small ones, but nothing like 18 meters. Yeah.
All right, well, we've got to get onto this cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the interest.
Maybe you ask the crypto. No, I want to
explain
talk
it
the
first,
first one. Is because you explain cryptocurrency, then I'll ask you a question.
All right. In brief, like it's a very
Go brief.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief and pretty interesting for the viewers. But Bitcoin, I'm just talking about Bitcoin here, not any other alternative currencies.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin, there's 21 million, right, ever to be made, ever.
Coins.
Yes. After the 21th million, we won't see that in our lifetime. That'll be centuries from now.
Yeah.
Estimated about a century.
Yeah.
But after that, it will be very, very, very slowly produced. Like very slowly. Like I'm talking maybe 2 Bitcoins every 20 years, something like that.
Really?
So,
Wow.
yeah, so there's still supply. It's kind of like with fossil fuels, like, you know, the Earth is here, the fossil fuels are in the middle. Obviously, after time it expands again. You know, you can mine fossil fuels after many, many years, but then
Yeah,
they
a little
deplete.
bit out of my role.
Yeah. But it's similar. It's the most comparable to gold.
I draw pictures for a living. Mate. I don't know about this.
Very good picture.
And I stare at a black line.
I love it. But yeah, so Bitcoin in short, 21 million to be made. They're at about
So the 21 million has been made?
no,
Or
they're about
there's going to be?
18.6.
Okay,
18.6.
okay.
So you can see over now that they gave out a lot early on. And when I say they gave out a lot, it's people mined for this. So people set up computers at home or individual computers that mine for Bitcoin directly.
I heard a story the other day. Have you heard about this guy? It's something about he's got a password and he's done it wrong 4 times. And if he does it wrong one more time, he loses millions of dollars worth.
So that would have been an early adopter. He could have even been a miner. And what he's done is he's had a wallet with it password protected. Could be on a hard drive or something like that.
So
and he's
great.
just forgotten the password.
Yeah.
And you have,
4 goes.
depending on what...
So he can
I think
lose
he had
it all.
10. I
if
think he had
get-
10 goes, but he only had 4 left or something like
Oh,
that.
right. And he could lose everything.
Yeah. Otherwise...
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I
I
have
heard
it.
the
It's
other
like
day.
200 plus million.
And
or
people
something
were
ridiculous.
saying like, hey, I'll get that password for you. I'll decrypt it. It might take like, a year or 2, but I get 20%. Which is a pretty
Oh,
smart
right.
idea. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if he's taken anyone up
Well,
on
you're
it.
a tech guy. Why don't you hit him up?
Yeah, exactly. There's your payday.
Cheeky
No, that would be
couple.
very hard.
So, Bitcoin started out very, very cheap, obviously.
Yeah, I got into it in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I
$1.60
don't know if it was around that long.
$1.60 US. It was.
2009, it was created by a guy called an alias Satoshi Nakamoto and Japanese man. Yeah. So
So you got into $1.60. It's now at what, 50,000 or something crazy, isn't it?
Is it? For
do you know
one?
what? It's actually US overnight. It went up. It's at 79,000 Australian dollars.
For one
For
coin.
one.
For one coin.
Yeah.
So that's insane to
What's
think
the
about.
idea of them not making more? Is there
Yeah, it becomes more supply and demand. You know, if there's only like 1,000 of these wines,
more limited?
yeah, and there's only like 5 left. Imagine the price of this wine.
Right.
But at least you actually get something physical and you can
Tangible,
enjoy it.
yeah.
But I don't understand how the coins just increase in value. What makes them increase?
So it's really
How do you
community.
use the coins? Is
It's community
it
driven.
1,000 questions?
No. These are really good questions.
Yeah.
Or how do you? Okay, I get a gold block. How do I use that? Like, what do I do with a gold block?
Yeah.
Oh, here, Kyle. Here's a gold block. Can I have your car? Like,
Yeah.
how do I sell this gold block? What do I do with it? What it's used as is tangible like investment. So it's like it's an investment that you can put in. Like Bitcoin is the most comparable to gold, and you can use it as a portfolio. You can say like I've got 2 Bitcoin, 3 Bitcoin, and what you can do is you can even get cards these days, Visa cards, that if I use, it immediately takes it out of my Bitcoin account into fiat currency, so everyday currency, US dollar, Australian dollar, and it just converts the Bitcoin. So I can use my purchases still with the Bitcoin.
But you obviously wouldn't want to.
No, because you
okay.
want to hold
But tell
it.
us about
right.
when you did.
Yeah, what I did, well, I've done a few mistakes.
This is a famous story.
I mean, there's...
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean,
You're on
Did
the
you do
news
something
telling this
silly?
story, were you?
when I was younger, I think when we were all younger, we did stupid stuff, you know, financial
Not me.
decisions and...
Not me.
Angel.
Moral citizen.
But like, you know, back in 2010, you couldn't buy these coins.
Yeah.
Like it was very hard to buy. There was no Australian exchanges or anything like that. You would mine for them. And I mined back then on my computer.
You mine for them how? How does that work?
Yeah, so you
Do I
basically...
look like a real idiot?
No, not at all.
This is so good.
These
I
are-
have no idea
These
either,
are
but
really good questions.
I'm glad you're the one asking.
Well, I don't know, mining for Bitcoin. I don't
So
know
what you
that
do,
is.
you get a pickaxe
No.
on Minecraft and you just dig away at the dirt.
Well, that's pretty. They use the analogy mining because it's very similar to mining. So you're trying to find gold, right? And you get myself picking for the gold, and it would take me forever to find gold. If I'm in Ballarat during the gold rush trying to find gold, it would take me forever. So I need a team. So I'd hire everyone, and the people who are working the hardest would get the most gold. So that's the exact same with Bitcoin. They use the same philosophy. So like you've got a Bitcoin miner, a computer, and it's a really good computer. You pay like $3,000-4,000 for this computer. And it mines, and it uses the computer at 100%. Your computer gets hot, it's using more power. What happens is, when the creator of Bitcoin created Bitcoin, he thought, how do I give this currency out? Like, I can't just give it to everyone, it'll be worthless. I'll use everyone's fossil fuels. I'll use energy.
Oh, okay.
So, How do you do that? With big, powerful computers. The more computers you have, the more Bitcoins you earn.
Yeah, right.
And they use the same with
That's
all
interesting.
altcoins as well. So those alternative coins like Litecoin, Ethereum, most of them are proof of work, which means they have to mine.
And how would a guy just come up with an idea like that and get out to the whole world?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
This is what I don't understand. Like Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator, is MIA. Like he's literally like, no one knows of his existence. If that's him.
Really?
Yeah, and he's believed to have, if I'm not mistaken, 15% of the network. So what he could do, theoretically, that Bitcoin's worth over $1 trillion now. Which is
my
mad,
God.
15%. This guy could
Are
seriously
you sure
hurt
it's not a
Bitcoin's
made
price.
up kind of alias?
Could
or-
be.
Yeah.
The guy could still be alive. The guy could...
It could be a group of people.
It could be the US government.
Yeah.
Could be anything. Like a lot of people have got different
Okay, that's
opinions on it.
interesting.
It is very interesting.
People
And that's-
like a bit of
Twist.
mystery, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that I can't answer. And honestly, it does scare me a little. That's the only thing that could hurt Bitcoin.
If he just decides to.
Yeah, just appear. I mean, he can't really appear and be like, we're shutting it down. Because he can't. Like, he
Okay.
can't really do that. The code's already out there. Everyone's using it.
Right.
But he can have a lot of Bitcoins on the network. And if he does a transfer like that, it could create panic.
And it's all just online, yeah? There's no
Yeah.
hard.
But people, it gets even scarier. There's darker world to Bitcoin. Like, people want him dead. Like, no one.
Really?
Like, imagine the banks. The banks are like, we don't want this in existence. Like, yeah. So it's kind of like the Elon Musk.
I find it hard to believe that it would be one guy just sitting there
You're
with
right.
all that power.
You're right. And your guess is as good as anyone else's.
Wow,
Like,
that's
it could
crazy.
be.
That's cool.
I don't know how it got. In 2010, China and the US, well, actually, it was just China buying. China were buying like crazy, or mining. And then US didn't get onto it until like 2012, 2013. Like, they weren't buying. So I can, if it was the US, like, I don't think it would be, but China were the first ones onto it.
And you just happen to get in early? Is that how you got lucky with it?
Yeah, definitely got into it early, but understanding it is a whole new thing. Like, as soon as you understand how blockchain technology works in the ledger, that's how the infrastructure works. Like, it's a bit more in depth, but don't want to lose focus. But yeah.
So, all right. So let's just go through. It was $1.60 when you first got
Yes. Yep.
In
And
2010.
getting to that story,
in. Yeah.
the story was that you could cash out Bitcoins for fiat, everyday currency. And back in those days, I was like, oh, I'll use this as an income. I'll cash out. I wasn't smart. I wasn't thinking long term. No one was at that stage. No one was thinking it would get above $2. And what I would do is I was young, so I was eating junk food left, right, and center, and I would go to McDonald's, and I still remember I cashed out 3 in a big Bitcoins, 3.5, 3.8.
No, on a Big
Yeah.
Mac.
Big Mac. How'd you know it was a Big Mac?
I know these things. I've got more eyes than you know about.
Yeah, Big Mac large meal. Yep,
Yeah,
that
I
was
was
a
gonna
it was a
say that.
tasty burger. I still remember it.
We'd want
So
to
it cost you 3.8 Bitcoins for a burger. So now that's what, 210,000 or 240,000 Aussie.
Yeah, more than that. More than that. It's
79, 80,000, yeah, so 240,000.
Yeah.
And when it's so early, how do they get you to buy into it if it's
We see
no
that's
one really knows?
that's the thing.
What made you go, okay, I can kind of see something here?
Do you know? I'll tell you the truth. I actually got into it just for the profitability of the mining, and that's how I think they get you. Like, that's you
Okay.
can use your computer. And at the time, I was a computer guy, tech guy, and I had a good computer, so I was like, I'm going to do this. So
And did someone pitch it to you, or are there people that
I learned it
promote
myself.
this? Or?
I went on, Anonymous. I like that hacker group. It was a group like them that were doing good things. And I looked at their donation page. I wasn't planning on donating, but I seen it and I was like, Bitcoin, what is this? Researched it, and because it's not traceable, the transactions, that's why these hacker groups get paid in it, because you can't trace it. Once you send the payment, it doesn't say Kane is sending Laz money. It doesn't say that.
No, right.
So that's why people like it.
Interesting.
And it's decentralized. The bank can't get onto you for it. Yeah. But there was so many other transactions that I did which I highly regret. When you're young, you want a cool car, so bought cars. Just all these stupid things.
So you would have paid what, 150,000 for a $20,000 car or something?
Well,
in hindsight.
Yeah, like I bought a Ford I think 17 or something Bitcoins.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was only like a bit of the car as well. Wasn't the full amount. So yeah.
Jesus.
So
what's that? I'm not good at maths.
yeah, 17 times 80. So that's up there.
That's a lot of money. I don't know where to start with that either.
You'd be spewing.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a Ford performance vehicle. It was a pretty cool car.
Okay.
But like, was it
Well,
worth
that's
13 million? I
I
don't
would
know.
say no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
Oh man.
600,000. I think it's 1 million.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
1.3?
that makes a lot more sense.
1.3, 6. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
well, But still, like, you know,
I'd rather go with 13.
let's stick with that. Nah, it was but just small things like that. But I also lost the money as well, like, you know, because I didn't earn it. It wasn't like I wasn't like working hard for this money, like my computer was, and you know, like I had a lot of my brain was just like so focused on what Bitcoin is and like how do I get more. So I never really invested money into it, and you know, I would do stupid things like I would.
So you took it for granted a little bit in the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like
okay.
I was buying more and more miners, and sometimes the miners would die on me, and I'd lose Bitcoin. And
Oh, right.
sometimes like exchanges, even Australian exchanges, would just shut down, and like they would just take your money. They wouldn't give it back, and like you would go to like try and file a law case against them, and they, you know, there's nothing you can do. Like
So
Bitcoin.
did Corona affect it at all in any way?
Yeah,
or-
Corona actually went down a little.
Yeah.
You would think it would be the opposite, but it did go down a little. But then, like, it's just peaked in the past 6 months. Like,
Right.
absolutely peaked. And like,
Okay.
people are putting like, you know, massive companies are backing it. Like Tesla just backed it. I think it's 1.5 billion. If I'm
I've
not
heard old
mistaken.
Elon's on it on the
Yeah.
old Bitcoin.
Well, he has to present a board. You know, he has to present it to like 9 different people. And say,
I heard he just put the tag on his Twitter or something, and it just skyrocketed in.
Well, he's an advocate of something called Dogecoin, which is a alternative currency, and he that's a Sydney coin, Sydney based.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, a guy from America that was working in Sydney created it. Yeah, so it's pretty insane. Like in Sydney, actually, in Australia, we've got like quite a few brains. Like, I wouldn't call this brainy at all, but even like the dark web, like the bad side of crypto, a lot have come from Australia. Like Silk Road, I'm sure you would have heard of it.
Yeah.
Like that's really the dark side. That was an Australian.
Oh, we got some
Sydney guy.
doozies down here. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
This gets Laz's mind really excited.
Yeah, no, like that guy, he knew he was like, you know, gone for it. I think he was in a library at one stage, and the FBI had to like do some kind of fight scene, like pretend like there was a lady getting beaten up, just to get his laptop while it was unlocked.
You're kidding.
That's
Yeah.
right, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember
his
watching
laptop
that
was
video.
unlocked on the counter. Obviously, he's working on it, and because he worked in public IP address, so public air realm, so he couldn't get killed or anything like that.
Crazy, man.
And also, he's using public internet, so he was on his laptop, and then next to him, like a fight scene just broke out, and that's the police. And he like went to like stop, and the police would bang, and like as soon as he locks it, they can't get anything.
Very smart on their
Very
part.
smart, yeah. And he got locked up, but then like bail was like put up, and it was paid like $20 million or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, he was the biggest, you know. It was crazy, but yeah, guy from Sydney, how insane.
Interesting.
It is.
How do we
Yeah.
get some bitcoins?
It
Can
is
you get
very
me some?
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still mining to
Give
this
you a
day.
one.
One
Wow.
or two.
Still
I know
mining.
one Bitcoin.
I'll take
80K.
one.
Just one.
You know how many hit parade jerseys, signed jerseys that
I
is?
know, imagine what we would do with that.
So it's not mathematical, you don't have to like work out all these formulas.
Nah, the computer does it all for you. Now, it's so basic, you literally
So
just press
interesting.
start. Yeah.
So he's going to draw himself, and he can't draw.
This is going to be terrible.
So it's going to be a good one. He's drawing it so we can put them all on a big board and auction it for a charity.
Oh,
At the end
perfect.
of our season. I actually update on the board.
Yeah.
Because we keep saying we're going to have a board and we don't have one. My godson, who's older than me, that's another story. he is.
Ah,
He's also
That's
Aboriginal
rare.
Chinese. His name's Albert. He is going to do a big wooden board and he's going to like do our logo like carved in it or like etched or burnt in it or something
Oh,
like
cool.
that. Yeah, so that's been done as we speak.
that's awesome.
So we're going to have them all next to each other. Put your name on the top and then sign it, whatever you do. Do a little Bitcoin there or something else. Make one up.
Huh?
He is, yeah.
It can be a terrible, like, yeah. There's
Oh.
been some awful drawings.
A couple of wheels in a box.
Alright. I'll try.
I mean, that's a suggestion.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah, definitely.
Artistic freedom is all to do.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
your piece of paper, mate.
Definitely. But could you guys like not watch me?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm really bland with drawings.
That's okay. Well, it's
This
all you
is
gotta do.
yeah.
I'll hold it up.
Guys, that's me and that's my car. Welcome to year 3 drawings.
This is what happens, kids, when you drop out of year 10. So, this is Kane. This is his Ford Ranger Wild Track.
Yes.
You can't tell, but thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks
No,
for
not
giving
a
it a
problem,
crack.
guys.
and
Car
stuff.
swap, everyone.
Yeah, car swap.
Nice to meet you, Kane.
Nah, not a problem. Happy to be on the show. It was awesome.
We'll,